A rally in support of President Donald Trump took place in downtown Spokane today. Meantime, chaos in the nation's capital as pro-Trump supporters turned violent when a mob stormed the Capitol building. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Mark Hanrahan.
Welcome everyone. I'm Whitney Ward. Right now we are going to give you a live look from the Capitol building. This is where Congress has now resumed their proceedings after that breach at the U.S. Capitol earlier today. So tonight we're learning demonstrators did break through the Washington governor's mansion as well in Olympia. So right now you're seeing there on the Senate floor as lawmakers continue to make remarks about what happened earlier today. We also know that they are going to get to the count for those electoral votes, but they have not yet gotten to that point. We are hearing some lawmakers may still have objections.
This has largely in the past been a ceremonial effort where they pull out and count the electoral votes. We have our live reporter on Capitol Hill right now. Let's go to our Natalie Brand.
As he gave a speech saying, let's get back to work. He called today a dark day in history, but said those who wreaked havoc at the Capitol did not win.
Members of Congress made their way through the halls back to the Capitol, flanked by law enforcement officers from multiple agencies.
Violence never wins. Freedom wins. And this is still the people's house.
On the Senate floor, Vice President Mike Pence gave a rousing speech as lawmakers reconvened to continue counting electoral votes. Earlier, rioters stormed the building, breaking through doors and busting windows. Capitol Police drew their weapons at one barricaded door from inside the House, though eventually protesters breached both chambers.
We forcefully got pushed through.
CBS News spoke with protester Boyd Camper from Montana, who was inside the Capitol.
Now, we did charge the aisle into the chambers, and we got tear gas and we got pushed back, okay? And after that, I retreated.
You have to go home now. We have to have peace.
President Trump posted a video that has since been removed from Facebook and Twitter, urging calm. Hours earlier, he addressed a gathering near the White House.
We will never give up. We will never concede.
President-elect Joe Biden also addressed the chaos here, calling it an assault on democracy and an insurrection.
Today's reminder, a painful one, that democracy is fragile, and to preserve it requires people of goodwill, leaders of the courage to stand up.
In response to the day's chaos, several Democratic lawmakers are now calling for President Trump to be removed from office.
Happening at this hour, lawmakers have resumed their debate to the earlier objection to Arizona's electors. But the question moving forward, will Republicans raise any additional challenges to some of the other states? Some GOP members who came into today planning to object say they have now reconsidered, saying today has changed things. On Capitol Hill, I'm Natalie Brand. Back to you.
All right, Natalie, thank you very much. Meantime, in Olympia today, a peaceful crowd of 300 to 400 people gathered at the Capitol upset with the 2020 election results. A spokesperson for Governor Inslee said the governor is in a safe location. Here is video of them actually, as you can see, trying to break down the gate there outside the governor's mansion. Washington State Patrol just said in the last hour they are investigating how it was even possible for protesters to make it onto the mansion grounds. That property is secure tonight. In the meantime, the Democrats have won both Senate seats. The Associated Press declared Democrat Jon Ossoff as the winner of that special election in Georgia we're talking about. CBS had previously called the other runoff in Georgia for Democrat Raphael Warnock over Kelly Loeffler. Supporters of President Trump also plan a protest in Spokane today.
KREM 2's Casey Decker has spent most of this day at those peaceful protests. So Casey, what was the scene like there today?
Well, the scene ended here at the Spokane County Courthouse around 3:30 with people standing in front of the courthouse waving flags and giving various chants. But take a look at this video here. The protest began at around 11 a.m. today in cars and trucks, and you can hear them there. Horns beeping loudly. That was the case all day long. Flags waving from those cars and trucks. They went from the Spokane Arena. They were going to do sort of a parade through downtown Spokane, but the cars kind of got broken up pretty early on, so it was kind of scattered about the city, but still lots of cars waving Trump flags you could see throughout Spokane today. Then later on, some of them met back up at the Spokane Arena and eventually came down here to the courthouse to hold a demonstration out here. Now, like you mentioned, these protests today, about 4 hours long, as far as we know, completely peaceful. Obviously, the insurrection in D.C., not so. But I spoke with a few protesters here about what was happening in D.C., and they thought that that violence was justified. Take a listen.
They're fighting for freedom. They're fighting for what our country was built on. Our Constitution, our Bill of Rights, our Declaration of Independence.
Do you think it's right to do that by raiding the Capitol building?
Do you think it's right for people to come down and root and riot and steal for no reason whatsoever?
So if you had an issue with that, do you not have an issue with this?
I think, do you know the Boston Tea Party was fought over, I think it was a 3% tax? You have to fight for freedom. Our whole country was founded on people who died for our country, for our rights and our freedoms. You have to fight for that, and they're trying to steal it. It's very important.
And of course, the protests here in Spokane today were based around that baseless idea that the election was somehow stolen from President Trump, and of course it was squarely won by President-elect Joe Biden. However, there were other cheers and chants as well in some of the demonstrations. One, back the blue, sort of ironic given the violence going on in DC, often clashing with police, and another one, reopen Washington. So these protesters kind of changing topics every so often here, but again, throughout the day, completely peaceful as far as we've been able to figure out. Reporting from the Spokane County Courthouse tonight, Casey Decker, KREM 2 News.
Casey, thank you so much. In the meantime, the president's Twitter account was locked just a few hours ago.
Yeah, Twitter says that is due to the president violating their civic integrity policy, and they want him to remove 3 of his latest tweets. As you can see on the profile right here, you're not able to view them at this time.
So the president took to Twitter earlier today to tell those supporters to go home. Take a listen.
I know your pain. I know you're hurt. We had an election that was stolen from us. It was a landslide election, and everyone knows it, especially the other side. But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have to have law and order.
So the president's account will remain locked for the next 12 hours unless he removes those tweets.
We have not yet heard anything from the president since this happened at the Capitol today, but President-elect Joe Biden did address the nation today, saying at this hour our democracy is under unprecedented assault. Biden called the violence at the Capitol an assault on the citadel of liberty and said it borders on sedition.
What we're seeing are a small number of extremists dedicated to lawlessness. This is not dissent. It's disorder. It's chaos. It borders on sedition. And it must end now.
And trending on social media this afternoon is a word that you may have heard already, insurrection.
You might not have heard it until today when that mob stormed the Capitol building in D.C. Dictionary.com defines the insurrection as, quote, an act or instance of rising in revolt, rebellion, or resistance against civil authority or an established government. An insurrectionist is someone who rises up against a government.
Well, new at 6 tonight, Spokane Mayor Nadine Woodward is also reacting to the breach at the U.S. Capitol. She said in part, this was a sad day for our country as members of our community feel compelled to respond to the national conversation or make their voices heard. Spokane expects that it will be done respectfully, peacefully, and appropriately.
Meantime, Eastern Washington Congresswoman Kathy McMorris Rodgers was in D.C. tonight, and new tonight she announced she will reverse course and not object to the certification of the Electoral College vote.
Now, this comes just one day after she had announced her intentions to support those objections. Our Ian Smay is live in the KREM 2 newsroom tonight to explain how all of this has unfolded just in the last 24 hours. Ian?
That's right, Whitney. Representative Kathy McMorris Rodgers released a statement just hours ago stating that she would, in fact, be changing course. Rodgers said in part, quote, I have been consistent in my belief that Americans should utilize the constitutional tools and legal processes available to seek answers to their questions about the 2020 election. What we have seen today is unlawful and unacceptable. I've decided I will vote to uphold the Electoral College results, and I encourage Donald Trump to condemn and put an end to this madness. Now, earlier today in a tweet, the Congresswoman said, stop these attacks on Capitol Police who serve to protect the people's house. Protesting peacefully is your right. Violence, aggression, and breaching security perimeters are not. Stop this now. Her decision earlier today was a surprise after announcing yesterday that she did plan to object to the Electoral College results. Yesterday's statement said in part, quote, this week's vote is not about overturning an election. It is about examining allegations of potential fraud, certifying that states are protecting election integrity, and ensuring people's voices are heard. KREM has previously asked Rodgers to outline the specific allegations of voter fraud her office had seen. A spokesperson for Rodgers did not respond to our questions. Just a few hours ago, it was reported that the Capitol building is now considered secure after it was breached earlier in the day. One woman has died in the violence in Washington, D.C. today. Whitney, Mark?
All right, Ian, thank you very much. And leaders from all around the world are also reacting to the events in our nation's capital today.
From TV stations in Saudi Arabia reporting on today's news, from leaders of the European Union, the Spanish Prime Minister took to Twitter to say, quote, "I am following with concern the news that are coming from Capitol Hill in Washington. I trust in the strength of America's democracy. The new presidency of Joe Biden will overcome this time of tension, uniting the American people."
And until the events of today, much of the focus lately when it comes to the election results has been on the state of Georgia.
Biden won that state, but President Trump has refused to accept that. He even unsuccessfully tried to pressure the state's elections chief, a fellow Republican, to somehow overturn the results. Well, Washington's own elections chief, Secretary of State Kim Wyman, also Republican, spoke with KREM today. She says she actually visited Georgia recently and saw for herself that their process is in fact secure, and she worries that rhetoric to the contrary could have lasting impacts on democracy.
It undermines our country, because then the elected leaders aren't legitimate. And if the elected leaders aren't legitimate, government isn't legitimate. And, this plays into the hands of our foreign adversaries who are trying to undermine our country from within. And when we have people within our country saying our elections aren't legitimate, it's a dangerous place for our republic.
In the meantime, local businesses back here in Spokane taking their precautions following the outburst of protests and a mob storming the Capitol building. Atticus Coffee and Gifts taking to Facebook to say, quote, "We'll be closing the shop for the rest of today for the safety of our staff and customers. We just don't feel comfortable doing business on a day where our nation's capital is occupied and under siege. Stay safe out there, friends, and be kind."
And we are continuing to track the latest updates from the Capitol tonight. For more on the situation unfolding in D.C. as well as local updates at rallies, just head to our website. That's KREM.com.
We want to switch gears back here locally to the weather, which normally would have been quite a story for today. We've seen plenty of rain all across the inland Northwest, and it's not done yet.
Let's check in with Tom Sherry joining us now. And Tom, are we expecting more rain this week or maybe some sunshine?
We might even get a little bit of snow on Friday, and that's different from when we talked yesterday. So we've got a little weather system. It looks like it may move into the area towards the end of the week. Right now we're at 39 degrees. Again, temperatures are well above the average high of 33 for this time of year. Matter of fact, the overnight low that I'm forecasting tonight is going to be really what our normal daytime high is. 33 the low. We'll look for rain this evening, maybe mixing with a little wet snow overnight, and then mostly cloudy and dry conditions expected tomorrow. And as I said before, a daytime high of 39 degrees. For the weekend, I've got fog and low clouds for part of Saturday, at least in the morning hours. We'll see a high of 38. Sunday looks mostly cloudy but dry, 38 degrees. I'll check the rest of your 10-day outlook coming up in a few minutes.